Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how you can make this fully dynamically controlled kinetic typography rig in After Effects. Okay, so the first thing is with After Effects my layout is a little bit different. I've got the composition panel on the left hand side of the screen and the timeline panel on the right. This is because we're going to be doing some expressions and I want a bit some space just so you can see it clearer. We're going to go in with a preset of an Instagram post. These are my own presets that I've saved. You can save your own presets by typing anything you want here and hitting this button here to save a preset. So an Instagram post is 1080 by 1350, but actually for better results, if you times it by 1.5, these are the optimum settings for a post, so it switches to my everyday preset setting. But just for speed and size, I'm just going to switch it to the an Instagram post size, which is 1080 by 1350. 24 seconds at 24 frames at 10 seconds. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is enter some text, and we'll call this Dynamic Text. For the font, I'm using one called Tungsten, but you can use any font you want. And I want to press Ctrl Alt and Home, position the anchor point in the middle, and press Align to center. Next thing I want to do is create a shape layer, and this is quite important. It doesn't matter what color it is, but what we're going to do is just make the shape layer pretty much the same size as the text, and put that underneath. And I'm just going to call the text layer text, just so we know what it is. You don't have to do that. Right, the first thing we want to do is dynamically change the size of this text box to match the text. And how we do that is we go into the size and we type in some code. Now this is why I wanted a bit more space, so let's push this over here. We don't need that one, and we don't need that one, and we don't need that one. So I'm just gonna type in I'm just gonna actually I do need the parent one. There we go. Need that back. I'm gonna alt click on the size and pick whip this, and then press source rec at time. And if you've got the latest versions of After Effects, it auto completes for you. Source rec.time dot width. I've made a little mistake. I need to define a variable, so I'm going to do x equals that, and then y equals same thing again, but this time height. And then I'm going to do open parentheses, or brackets rather, and that should work. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is add a offset path, and this is quite important, and I'm going to set this to 0 for now, but we'll come back to that later. And yeah, so that's that for now. So we're going to call this text precomp, and then I'm going to drag that into here and call this text master. Right, and I'm just going to relabel this leader for now, and all will make sense in a second. I'm just going to go back here because when I moved it, I fudged up the position. Just make sure that's bang in the middle. There we go. So back to text master. Right, so what I'm going to do here is create a new null object and call this controller, or control should do. And to this I'm going to add a couple of slider controls. So that I'm going to duplicate and duplicate. The first name I'm going to call this is delay value. Then I'm going to call this one scale value. And let's just make sure we got the right casing. And the last one I'm going to call offset path. Right, so now I'm going to do is lock this, go into the leader and go into offset paths, control click on this and just scroll to here, and I'm going to pick whip the value from here to here. This is referencing the text master comp because we locked it. This control still stays here, and that's all we need. Now we've done with this, we don't need to come back to here. Go back to text master, unclick the padlock. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. Okay, so now we've got a layer duplicated. I'm going to do the fun stuff. This is the expressions bit. Now it might look complicated, but it's not. Okay, so I'm going to alt click on the position and we're going to set some variables. So the first one is going to be called delay frames. Delay frames. And this is going to equal delay value, and our delay, I'm going to select our delay, and for this we're going to type in frames to time, and we're going to copy this bit here, or you can just type it in if you're not lazy like me. And the next one we're going to type is this comp dot layer and index -1 dot transform dot position dot value at time minus delay. Right, so let's explain what's going on here. We've got delay frames. This is basically the time in seconds that the delay is going to happen, and then we've got a delay frames to time. This is just the whole thing that making it work, and this is referencing any frame that happens underneath here. It's almost like a follow the leader kind of thing. It's better if I just show you what's going on. So I've got some keyframe animation here. So if we now set our delay value to say 1, you'll see we've got a little bit of a delay. Let's set that to 2. So you see the frame underneath is delayed by exactly whatever value you put in here. So it's 5 seconds, so now have a 5-second delay. I think it's 5 frame delay. So it is a frames because it's frames to time. So it's not seconds. If you did want it seconds, because we're in 24, you type in 24, and now that'll be a 1 second delay. So we're going to leave that at just 1 for now. So that's the position done. We're going to copy all of this and go to our scale, alt click, press paste, just bring that down. And for this, we're just going to change this word to scale. We're going to do one more thing for scale. We're going to say S. I'm going to define a variable called S, and that's going to be equal to our scale value, which is here. And then we need to do one more thing. It's come here and type in plus bracket S comma S. Because the scale is a 2-dimensional property, this is referencing the scale value. Again, it will make sense in a second. So if I set the scale value, you'll see now here, that's now 10% bigger than the one underneath it. This is where the fun stuff happens, because if I hit duplicate, you'll see it growing underneath. But what's up with this red box? We don't want that. So we're going to go into layer and just turn this off. Come back here and this ain't looking right. So what do we have to do? Is the secret trick is you go into here. Let's bring our, whatever this is called, our blending mode options. I'm going to set this to silhouette alpha. Now nothing happens here, but when you go back to this comp, nothing happens because I did the wrong one. Silhouette Luna, and that's not happened. What do I have to do to have it on? Observe I have it on. There we go. And we don't want silhouette Luna, we want silhouette alpha. Right, so I'm leaving all these mistakes in because this is what design's about, figuring out your mistakes. So the next thing is, you can see there's no border around it, but that's why this offset path comes into action. So if we set 10 here, maybe that's a bit too big, let's just go with 1. You get a little bit of a border going. And let's adjust that scale value so it's a bit bigger. There we go. So what's this offset path? Well, if you go back into the leader here, and I'm going to turn this on so you can see, the offset path is basically growing the bounding box of this shape layer. So if I just hit you here, it's controlling here, so it's just making the box bigger. And don't ask me how this works, I just figured this out one day, and I'm just glad it works. So back to silhouette alpha, and yep, so we've got that. And the next one we want to do is just delete this all. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to go into the rotation now, and the rotation is going to be the same as the position. So let's go into the position from here, steal all this code, press R, alt click, paste, and change the word position to rotation. Just make sure that looks okay. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and that's basically it. So let's actually do some animation and have some fun. So I'm just going to start with one layer. So we're going to go, let's start here. We'll shift to the left, and then set a keyframe, and then it will shift all the way to the right, set a keyframe. So we got left, hold, right, hold, keyframe, and then back into the middle again. And let's put some easy ease. So this is animation now, boof and boof. Let's make those keyframes more energetic. I've just used motion 2, but you can just do that with the graph editor. So that looks cool. So now I want it to scale up. So I want it to go bam like that, and then come down to 100 again. Select those keyframes, press F9. I mean, that looks pretty rubbish, so let's make that quicker. Still look pretty pants. We need to set a keyframe here. So now it goes poof and then poof. And once that's done, we probably want to do a little rotation. So we'll set a keyframe and rotation. Go -90. Move forward 10 frames. Hold there. Then move probably another all the way to 90. Hold a keyframe there, and then come back to 0. No, you can do any animation you want. This is just showing you how it works for testing purposes. Alright, let's see what this looks like. So it's going to go left, turn right, back to the middle, push up, push back, and then to rotate, and rotate, and then back to rotation again. That looks rubbish. because it's just a text layer on its own. But because we've got this leader, it's going to repeat afterwards. And here's the magic. All you have to do is press Ctrl D to duplicate. It doesn't matter what layer you duplicate, it automatically dynamically adjusts because of the code. So you can see here, we've got loads here, but we can't actually see it. So we just need to make a few tweaks here to the value. So let's say offset path to 3. There we go. And the value to say 10. No, let's go back to 30. That look good. So now we get this really nice ripple effect. So now I've just rendered this up already. If I play this through, we get this really nice effect. Especially that rotation, it looks really cool. Now because this text is quite big, the scale doesn't work that great. So let's just call this kinetic. Make that smaller. Position it in the middle. Maybe make that text a bit smaller as well. And then I'm going to make sure that's positioned in the middle by pressing Ctrl H, home, and make sure that's still matching. Cool. So now, actually we want to punch this scale. And now it's running a bit slow just for, I'm just going to switch to half res or third res, just for speed. And that initial scale, set to 150, will set to 150. Now all the animation happens on this layer. You don't need to worry about anything here. It's like a follow the leader, so this is the only keyframes you have to do. And set this to 150. Let's see what this looks like now. So this is what this looks like now. And you know, that animation is pretty rubbish, but I'm sure you can do a lot better. Let's just do a few more tweaks here. I'm going to change this and then scale this value up so we can see more of it. So it fills the whole page. There we go. Right, so here's that animation now. So, you know, you can be creative as much as you want here. Just to make sure the collapse transformations is on, because if it isn't, this is what it looks like. Garbage. So that needs to be on. And in here, this needs to be silhouette alpha. It needs to be on. And that's it really. So the next thing is changing text color, because say if I just wanted to change this one here, this text color, and I wanted red, it will change everything else to red. But what if I didn't want everything else to be red and I just wanted this to be red and this one to be white? Because it's a pre-comp, whatever happens in here happens to the copies. So to do that, we're going to have to use the essential properties. So let's just switch that back to white. Helps if I select the right layer. And for this magic to happen, we're going to select the fill effect, drag that on, and we're going to go to window and essential graphics. We're going to press go to effects here, fill, find color, and just drag that into here. And that's it, you're done with that. We can close this frame. And now when we go back out here, yes, that's all red, so we don't want it to be red. We want this to be white. Go back, again it's all shifted white, but now we've got this new property here. We go into here, we can change the color for just this layer only. Oh, and the reason why I don't apply a fill to just this layer only is because it breaks the box behind it. So that if you want to go for that style, cool, but I don't. Because of the collapse transformations, it doesn't work. So that's why we don't use an effect. We can use the essential properties. Let's select blue. And now that works, we've got the border around the text. Let's just go to full. So we've got the border around the text, and yeah, and you can do that for any one you want. You can do it for all of them or a specific one. Just change the color through here. Right, I think that's pretty much it. I might just play around with it for a few minutes. I'll speed this bit up just to see if we can make a cool animation. So let's just give it a minute. So I'm just going to delete all of these apart from one, and I'll speed this bit up. Right, let's see how this one looks. Gonna duplicate. Right, so I've just tweaked some animation quickly. Let's see how this one looks. Let's actually make this a bit bigger and go to fill. I mean, that's looking really cool, really funky. I like that. So the other good thing about this is we did set up an Instagram size, but we can switch it to a HD comp and it resizes automatically. Okay, I'm just going to remove a few just for speed, and let's see, make that scale factor a bit bigger. And then I'm going to adjust the delay value. And let's just drop this down to half. Don't need full res. I mean, that's really cool. I think, I mean, depending on how creative you are and with your position, scale and rotation animations, you can come up with something really cool. Alright, so I hope you found this tutorial useful. The expressions will be linked to my website in the description below, so you can just copy and paste everything from there. And yeah, if you've liked this tutorial, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel. I'll be trying posting one a week tutorial. This tutorial is about 2.5 weeks late. I'm sorry, I just got a bit lazy. But my next tutorial is going to be about kinetic typography again. And yeah, if you've got any questions or if there's any techniques you like and you want me to break it down and give you a tutorial about it, leave a comment below and I'll figure it out and post a tutorial. Alright, thanks guys. I'll leave that playing. Probably make that full res. Yeah, I don't know why you're still watching this.